welcome to the beginning of the 15th season of Fragments of Silicon. I wish we're starting under better circumstances. I suppose it could be much worse, but we've just been shaking off the rust, as it were, since, it's been a few weeks since we've done everything, and, sorting out the technical issues and what have you. Anyway, 4 reviews up this week. We begin with, okay, so the Steam page says Reynes, but the actual in-game title is Reynes Redemption, so we went with Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
And this is it's an adventure game in the style of, say, Phoenix Wright or Danganronpa, and yet shifting a bit more towards the traditional style of adventuring. I'll break that down in a bit, but you are Ava Reynes, a detective who was once the best in her field, until a incident happened that left her basically a broken shell, from what I understood, and forced her into retirement for like a year. So shaken by these events, she's going to a therapist regularly, and all that's going on when her.
Adam, it sounds like someone's scratching a record over the whole thing.
Okay. How about now?
And now it's stopped.
That was weird. But weird audio glitches sometimes happen. Anyway, as I was saying, your assistant gets into a spot of trouble in that the girl that he fancied gets murdered, and he's the prime suspect. So, ostensibly, it's up to you doing a favor for him, because otherwise, he's going to get blamed for the murder, and that soon unravels into a very large spanning plot that connects back to the event, the events of her retirement, and that's the setup. The gameplay is, you search for clues, you interrogate witnesses, and then the showdown, I'm not sure if that's the word I would, I'm trying to think of the word, the discourse. Yeah, there we go. The discourse time is when you gather up your clues, your assertions, and then this is where the Phoenix Wright part comes in, and you try to expose the contradictions using the evidence. And here's where the game lost me. I got about 2.5 hours in before I just quit, in not frustration, but more in agony. That is to say, because unlike, say, Phoenix Wright or Danganronpa, the investigation phase isn't guided. That is to say, you're not in a static area where the clues are very easy to find. No, you have to actually work at that. And
I can say some things about certain cases in Phoenix Wright, but fair.
There are actually there are light RPG elements in this where, like, your perception gets increased, and that affects what you find, and also, like, if there are clues in the area, that kind of thing. And you
gotcha.
And you can even level those up, like by playing computer games, which do take a time investment, which usually happens after the workday is done. But point is, it's incumbent on you to find the proper clues. And if you don't have that, you're not proceeding. See, that's kind of where this and, say, Phoenix Wright differ, because, they make sure you can't leave an area without finding everything, or, move on to the interrogation phase without having everything prim and proper. And also, the choices span a lot more than, say, 3 options. Like, that's kind of where the game lost me, because I had 8 fucking options for the choices, and it's also there were 3 areas to use. So theoretically, I wasn't exactly getting what the game wanted me to do at that point. Theoretically, I could brute force it, but the thought of, just matching up everything, and you only get a certain amount of persuasion points. You can only do a thing, say, 6 times before you fail. So, in theory, you can line up all the clues to all of the answers and just work at it one by one. But that is so tedious and unfun, I dropped the game over it. Yeah, there's a reason. Yeah, I'm going to say it right now. I think Phoenix Wright and Danganronpa had the right idea in making sure the clues and shit were available. So you don't miss shit. Because that kind of fucked me over until I found the proper clue in the area and matched it to the thing I was missing. So that aside, graphically, I'm guessing this is an RPG Maker game. If it's not, it looks like an RPG Maker game. That's not an insult. It's just, if you told me this was made in RPG Maker, I'd believe you. The actual art is okay. The portrait art and stuff along those lines. They're okay, but, they're not super impressive. Music's a curious beast, as it ranged to the really good, I like the discourse music the best, to the supremely fucking cheesy. That is the opening ballad that's played on the title screen. I'm unexpected, but, I'm not exactly sure what they were going for there. Anyway, in terms of pricing, this game will set you back usually $9.99. It's on sale for $1.99 right now, so $2. It's an easy recommend. $10. I'm I can give this a solid recommend. It wasn't my cup of tea exactly, but I think the story is interesting. It's also, if you're looking for something rather adult, it's in terms of your character's an adult, like a woman in her 30s. That's pretty rare in terms of video game protagonists, and all that stuff. It's just, you might have to work at it, and that should probably be in the calculations. And any sort of questions, comments, or concerns over Ava Reynes here?
Not really.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
All right, then. So that'll about do it for Ava Reynes. Be sure to tune in after the break, as Petty Fan will be reviewing Beautiful Desolation.